Welcome to the first podcast by the CrossFit UK and Ireland team. I am Andy Edwards.
I'm Gareth Waits.
So we wanted to put something together in regards to developing the network of affiliate owners, CrossFit trainers, and people who do CrossFit. Over the last 18 months, since we've been in position as the country team, we have put in certain, I guess, actions in regards to roundtables. Following on with the newsletter, trying to get gatherings together and connecting the community as best as we can, and experimenting a lot of things. Where we have seen success, all right, let's say it's in something like a roundtable, we just haven't seen the traction which we think that we need. So it's moved us on to trying to do a podcast so people can listen to it in their cars, etc.
Yeah, I think the idea is we want to try and communicate to you, the affiliate owners, but also to everyone in the country that's doing CrossFit as much as possible. So we've tried different things and we're going to keep trying new things. And this is one of the ones that we want to try for 2026.
Yeah. As I said, it's, we want to connect with our network of affiliate owners first and foremost, right? We want to help the CrossFit training, CrossFit coaches within the UK and Ireland region to develop, and sort of see, what certain people are doing and trying to share good practice. But also we want to give, CrossFitters, I've got to make sure I stipulate that word in inverted commas, right? In the UK and Ireland, an opportunity, I guess, to view the wider community,
Yeah.
right? We've got some, pretty awesome stories, and I think being able to sort of resonate on how CrossFit has impacted with those individuals on a local level. You know, Basically, we will know someone who's got a similar kind of story, and as all CrossFitters ever do, is that they talk about CrossFit. A good way of convincing someone is just showing them a video, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think there's a wealth of experience and wealth of knowledge out there. I know that in the last couple of years, I've learned so much from talking to new owners and old owners, and I think that's something that we can potentially tap into. And we're hoping to by interviewing people, answering questions, covering topics that maybe people want to know a little bit more about, but might be a little bit nervous to ask us directly. And hopefully we can use something like this to
Yeah.
share that information.
And like with all these kind of things, we always want some feedback, and part of this is that we have to be open and transparent
Yep.
about what our goals and our ambitions are, right? So by doing these round tables, we kind of want to get I say one of the markers we're looking for, right, is that we're going to see if we can get our Instagram page to grow. Now we're currently at 34,000. Right, there's 650 affiliates in the UK. Within those CrossFit affiliates, there may be, on average, three coaches, right? So we're still in the thousands, really. So there's obviously a number of people external to, trainers into the owners that we're serving. And in fact, we've done back of a thumb tape kind of maths on this one in regards to, if of those 650 affiliates were to have a slightly below average membership base across the board, of 150, that's almost 100,000 people doing CrossFit in the UK. And we would love to see each one of those people who've got Instagram be part of that community.
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot of people out there that we can help connect with other affiliate owners as well as the staff, the coaches, like Andy mentioned, and the members of those gyms. It feels like a no-brainer to try and reach as many people as possible as we can.
Yeah, and in order to do that, we need to create value,
Yeah.
right? And first and foremost, in terms of that value creation, we want to speak to the people that in which we're kind of like responsible for. All right, that is the affiliate owners. See the country team as basically an account management. Where we're a go-between, CrossFit Global and you on the local level, and how that is going to benefit you guys on the local level is like, look, we speak to owners, trainers, members, and we just basically beg, borrow, and steal all those good ideas and just disseminate and try and pass it across. Now, who are we in order to basically say, look, we're going to try and create, value. Well, we have to kind of like, I guess do something that we're not particularly comfortable in doing in either one of us, and that's like trying to build credibility. And the only way in which I think we can kind of like build credibility is just uh do do a little bit of like talking about ourselves, right? So it's not just like two, grey-haired dudes sat in a gym room somewhere scared behind them telling you, yeah, you should do this, right? So, Gareth, kick us off. Talk about your CrossFit story.
Yeah, so I found CrossFit about 13 years ago, and I started out doing CrossFit in a shipping container. Couldn't go overhead with anything at the time. I then found my local affiliate, which was Second City CrossFit, and then started coaching there. I then left a career as a chef, became a full-time coach, and then about 12 months after that, I became a co-owner. So for the last 11 years, I've been a co-owner of Second City CrossFit in Birmingham, which is actually a 15-year affiliate this year. We're a fairly established affiliate. We've got full-time PAYE staff, and one of the main things that I try and do is focus on them, focus on their development, making sure they've got a high quality of life. For the last 18 months, like we mentioned at the start, I've done that community support manager role with CrossFit UK and Ireland. Um, Over the last 11, 12, 13 years I've been doing this, I think I've been on every course you can go on, attended every seminar that I can go on, had as many conversations and experiences as possible to try and deepen that knowledge and understanding of CrossFit and systems and processes and how things work.
Yeah. And what I was saying to add to that, so again, Gareth is really good in creating great customer experience, great systems, and why that's beneficial. Well, people tend to stay around a little longer when they're having fun, and they're looked after, and more importantly, they get the results from the actual training itself. Okay, so again, that's just to sort of add a little bit onto that. So my background, I think is such a long time ago now, and I get it does get a little bit grey in certain areas. I started CrossFit in end of 2020, no, not 20, 2008, jeepers. But I didn't really fall in love with it until 2009 when I decided to go traveling, and I found it in Australia. Out there, I saw what the power of training CrossFit did. I saw the community, which wasn't really present in the UK at the time when I first took it on. And then from there, that motivation's always been since I've come back at that time to kind of emulate that. I set my gym in 2010 in Cardiff. I then learn everything that I could, like you, every seminar that was available through CrossFit, and then the opportunity arose to get onto seminar staff. And there, after being on seminar staff, I had the capacity to, travel all over Europe, teaching the level ones, etc., the level twos. And it was at that point I realised that people deliver CrossFit in a variety of different ways. The outcome and the goal is always still kind of the same, but I'm like, oh, I quite like the way that gym's doing that, or I quite like the cue in which that coach has done that, and that's kind of really impacted, I guess, the what we've done here. My affiliate being Dragon CrossFit, 15 years now. Um, I would say, where we're at as an affiliate has basically, whereas Gareth was like super strong on, as I said, creating a great customer experience with systems, understanding people expect, etc. From his time of understanding it from being a chef, I don't like to say it, but I'm basically a knuckle dragging coach, right? So I like all I know how to kind of deliver is like a really good 1 hour's experience, okay, and it's been really interesting, over the latter period in terms of developing the systems, taking things on board, and seeing how that kind of comes across. Um, I don't like to say it, but like I've gone through the level 4, so that's given me the kind of the confidence to kind of say, hey, what we're doing here at Dragon seems to kind of work, and from a coaching perspective, it's like I guess I like to learn and see what other coaches are doing, and more from that commerciality part. And yeah, I guess both of us together, we've kind of like we balance each other out. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, I think that's where maybe the powers above us saw that the pairing of us as the country team might work. Someone who's got excellent coaching experience and is being modest there. There's 3 level 4 trainers in this country,
Uh, yeah, one in the new version.
one in the new version. So it's a very it's a very high standard to achieve that level 4 status. I mean, as Andy mentioned, my background in hospitality means that I can sort of handle that side of things and systems and customer experience a little bit more. I think that's where, as a pairing, we can offer a lot of assistance to not only owners, but coaches and trainers, and even customers and members coming
Yeah.
through as well.
And the conversations that we can have around that, right? Again, part of the coaching background that I've done, like, I've been in a capacity where I've competed at the regionals level early days when there was only like a handful of people and they were like trying to make up the numbers, right? But in terms of like the training in which I was doing in order to try and even get to that point, you just learn that that ain't going to work in a gym scenario, right? Then there's the ability, the background of having coached a number of athletes. I'm very lucky to have like tagged on to people podiums and stuff like that. But again, that is a different area of CrossFit, right?
Yeah.
But having those conversations with owners and trainers and programmers, where you set yourself in within that scene, can offer some insight on what's needed, but more importantly, what the long term application of this is.
Yeah.
Um, we are currently just wanting to connect everyone,
Yeah.
as best as we possibly can.
Yeah, 100%. And I think as this evolves over the next weeks, months, and hopefully years, feedback, questions, can you get this person in? Can you have a guest? Can you connect with this person? Let us know. You can do that via Instagram or via our direct email addresses if you've got them. Reach out to us so we can really make this what you want it to be. Otherwise, it will just be the two of us
Chat
getting
CrossFit.
older and older in front of ski ergs,
Yeah.
chatting CrossFit and the things that we love.
Yeah. So, the open's on at the moment, Gaff. We'll just sort of have a snapshot of that. We're going to get Johnny Davis on to the podcast, basically just to sort of give his viewpoint on how he's got so many sign-ups and why that's important to
Yep.
him. Okay. Again, all our facilities and affiliates are different, so it's just to get his viewpoint. I think that's one of the things that we really want to kind of like highlight, right? Is that there's this, again, word success, right? Based on the CrossFit community that we have here, it's going to look very different to
Yep.
every one of our stakeholders, owners, trainers, and people who do CrossFit. But it's basically trying to find some people who have what they feel as if they're in a successful position, and just have a look at what the clues that are alluded to get them there. Because guess what, it can help people either want to try and kind of achieve the same or not.
Yeah.
Some people, don't want, a number of sign-ups in the open, which is completely fine. But for those of us who look at, running it and want to run it to a certain capacity, speaking to someone like Johnny, Jamie up at Method, the guys at Glasgow, and so on and so forth, is of benefit really, because if we just look at them in terms of the numbers before anyone sort of like, how do they orchestrate that many people through a weekend? How do they organize? How do they mobilize all those
Yeah,
people?
100%.
So it's just information.
Yeah, and
It's
how do they go from no one to 200 signups in the open? Like, where's the snowball effect start creeping in?
yeah.
Um,
I mean, you could even talk about like like the two. We've got some super fit individuals in the UK, and it would be good to just talk to them about their training.
yeah,
What I mean? It's just like we get into that nitty gritty of it, in regards to well, when do you squat, or do you squat?
yeah,
And it's just the sort of like their motivators, their drivers, and that's we're looking to do the same with maybe some CrossFit trainers. In regards to CrossFit trainers, what do you guys want to learn about? Because that's the big thing. We talk about coach development, but what does that look like to you? It looks a certain way to me as an affiliate owner, and that might be beneficial to someone who's looking to become, in terms of a professional coach. What does a professional coach mean to us in CrossFit? There is so many conversations in which we can have, which can develop the network which we have. Be part of, but also benefit people external of that.
I think we'll get Johnny through the door and get the first one rolling.
Brilliant. All right, look forward to it, team.